Recently, a man that I know was going off to a public event where a Muslim was going to speak. And he asked me, he says, "Bill, what kind of question should I ask?" Now, this is a question that I've been asked before, so I thought I would tell you about how I ask questions of Muslims at public events. Now, you can use this same technique to ask a Muslim at a private social episode, such as meeting a Muslim at work. But the way it goes like this, particularly in a public event, what you want to try to do is to educate the audience. It's not probable that you're going to ask a question of a Muslim which is so shocking that he falls apart or just looks terrible in front of the audience. So we want to ask a question that will educate the audience. This means to say something about Islam and ask a question about it. Now, you may say, well, I don't know enough about Islam. What you want to do is to ask a question about Muhammad, not about Islam. And the other thing is, you do not want to bring up the Quran unless you're pretty skilled at it, or that just refer to it in an oblique fashion. Stay with Muhammad. He's easy to understand. Dealing with the Quran is tricky business. So here's an example. The Sunnah of Muhammad says that Muslims must be punished for leaving Islam. Do you agree with this? Now, the actual punishment that's laid out here is murder, killing apostates. But nevertheless, the question is asked in a way here where people can be punished for leaving Islam, and then you ask him, what does he think about this? You're educating the audience in the fact that they have probably heard this, but now then you're bringing it up again. Muhammad was a killer of pagans, Christians, and Jews who did not agree with him. Do you agree with his example? You've educated the audience into the fact that Muhammad was a Jew killer, a Kafir killer, a Christian killer. So, you've done an educational thing, and you've asked a difficult question. Muhammad repeatedly advised Muslims to deceive Kafirs to advance Islam. Now, Kafir is a non-believer. And I always refer to myself as a Kafir in the situation that I'm dealing with a Muslim. Kafir is their secret dirty word, and I like for them to know that I know what the dirty word is. Sort of puts them on notice. Muhammad repeatedly advised Muslims to deceive Kafirs to advance Islam. The Quran has over 90 verses that say that Muhammad is the perfect example for Muslims to follow. Do you follow the perfect example of Muhammad? Have you ever deceived a Kafir? Well, it's a question that can be answered yes or no, but look how much education you've done. You have brought up the point that Muslims can deceive, and that Muhammad was a deceiver himself. So this is a good question. Both the Quran, the Sunnah of Muhammad, and the Sharia law of all schools say that the husband can beat his wife. Do you ever beat your wife? Well, now the question is rather harsh, but what you've educated people about here is the fact that it's true. Islamic husband can beat his wife. So there the question just kind of hangs in midair. And then, let's see, one more. Sharia law says that it must rule over the Kafirs, the non-Muslims. Do you agree with this? Again, we're educating about the fact that Sharia law rules all people, and then see how the Muslim responds to this question. So the next time you want to ask a question to a Muslim, bring up a point of Islamic doctrine that involves Muhammad, and then ask the question about that. Thank you.